Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank all of my 50,000 and plus subscribers, and to celebrate, we're going to make a I love you to the moon bear. I'm using a molded stone, using a mold from the HappyDottingCompany. You don't have to use a perfectly round molded stone. You can paint this on whatever you want. Just do the outer edge a darker blue and the center a lighter blue. I'm using indigo night, I believe, or cerulean blue. It will be listed in the description, guys. And then I'm using aqua in the center. I did use a sponge to sponge it on because it covers nicely, and it just looks nicer and smoother and softer, kind of like airbrushing. So I'm using two different sponges, one for dark blue, one for light blue, and then I'm using a dry sponge with nothing on it to kind of get rid of all the extra stuff like I'm doing now. You can see it's picking up all that extra paint that I put on here, and it's giving it a nice smooth layer. And I'm just doing it twice to make sure my outer edge is blue and my center is light blue. I did use aqua in the center. So I just kind of sponged it out to make it look nice and smooth, let it dry, and now I'm putting hologram 2796. This actually helps to give the effect that it's a night sky with twinkling stars. That's the whole idea. The reason I'm doing this bear is because I love you guys to the moon and back, and I would give you my heart. So this is my thank you. I've also had a few requests for teddy bears. So if you were looking for a teddy bear idea, here's one for you. I hope you like it. So I'm going to use a pencil, even though you guys can't see it. It'll be a little bit easier once I get my white paint out. We're going to start with a nice crescent moon. But I'm going to use white in order to kind of prime my moon first before I add yellow. So I'm going to get it on there with the white paint, let it dry, and then use yellow over top so that it's nice and bright. If you try and use a color like yellow or orange over top of this, it does not look nice. You can see right through orange and yellow paint really easily. So best thing to do is prime it first. That way you have a nice solid white background to work with, and your oranges look like bright orange and your yellows look like bright yellows because of this white background that we're doing. So once you have your moon, your crescent moon the way you want it, I'm going to remember, or I'm going to help you remember to leave like the bottom of your moon hooked out enough so that you can sit a teddy bear on it. So you might be able to see that the bottom part of my moon is sitting out further than the top part. And that is simply so I can prepare and have a big enough spot for my teddy bear to sit on, because he's going to be a cute little chubby teddy bear, and he needs a little place to rest so that he can hold his heart up to you, give you his heart, because he loves you to the moon and back, and that bear represents me. I'm the bear. And I just want to thank all of my loyal subscribers. That we're going through a hard time together, guys. We're all in this together, and we're all going to come out stronger and more creative. And I'm hoping that I'm keeping you guys from pulling your hair out a little bit, just a little bit even. I hope I'm helping in some way. That's all I want to do. So this one is so cute. I just love it. I might even make a couple and leave them around town for people. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just think it's cute, and it says a lot. It really does. Same with the caduceus that I created yesterday for you guys. So now that I have my white background, I did use a sponge. I used a paintbrush first to paint it in, used a sponge to sponge out all my paint lines, all my brush strokes, and then I let it dry. And if you use a sponge, it does cover the blue nicely, as you can see. You can barely see through my white paint, so sponges cover it nicely. I definitely recommend going out and getting some sponges. Even if you just get like a regular sponge and chop it up into little pieces that you can work with. They're amazing to have. Just make sure you rinse them out so that before the paint dries, and you can reuse them as many times as you want. So I'm using saffron yellow. I'm doing the outline first, and then I'm going to sponge the yellow in on the inside because, like I said, it just covers nicely. So I'm addicted to sponges when it comes to this. It's just so much easier than a paintbrush. It looks so much smoother and softer, and I don't know. I just kind of like it. So you can't see, but I'm sponging on using Martha Stewart sponge daubers, and I will have that link in the description of where I get mine. You can get them at Michael's, but I'm sure right now it's kind of hard. So you can definitely order online in most places. So just take a look for Martha Stewart sponge daubers or even Craft Smart sponge daubers. They have a wooden handle, and they're just as good. They come in all different sizes, and they're excellent for cute little projects like this. And a lot of my rocks, I use a sponge. So definitely something to keep on hand. Now, for the little areas, I'm using little sponge. But for the very edge of my crescent moon, I'm going to have to use paintbrush anyway. So I don't want to get any of the yellow on my beautiful night sky. So now that our moon is on there, we'll work with it a little bit more afterwards. But now I'm going to sketch on the shape of my teddy bear. I'm going to do it real quick. I'm using a camel colored paint. It's called Camel. And this is just to start with. We're just doing a base coat, kind of like priming before the moon. This is kind of like a base coat or a primer for the teddy bear because we're going to work with this. It's not going to look this color when we're done. But this is just kind of a base coat to figure out where he is sitting, how his shape is going to go, and then we'll fill him in. We'll fill him in with color. So I'm sorry that you can't see the bottom half. I will show it to you in a moment. But I won't hide any of this from you. You will be able to see everything when we're done. There we go. You can't see it very well anyway right now, the shape of it, because of the yellow moon behind there, but I'm going to fill it all in. I'm going to outline it with some darker brown, and then I'm going to sponge some brown in there and work with some shading. But you'll be able to see the legs and how they're positioned a lot easier very soon. So like I said, I'm just using that camel color as a base coat. We're not going to put any features or any stitches or anything like that on yet. This is literally like primer right now. But I'm using that base coat of primer in a camel color. That's the only difference. Because once again, this is a lighter color, this camel color, so it's hard to cover over top of that blue. But we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that we can't see any blue through our bear. I will be using a chunky glitter on the heart that the bear is holding, but I want you guys to know you don't have to use the same stuff that I'm using. You can just paint it red. You can make it look like a shiny heart using red and some white maybe, and highlight some areas of the heart. You can use glitter paint. You can use glue and then sprinkle real glitter, like fine red glitter all over the heart. It's completely optional what you do. I'm just using what I have on hand, and I just happen to have some larger chunky glitter from Recollections or Recollections. I love their glitter. They have so many nice kinds, which I also get. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Michael's. You might be able to get it online at Michael's. It's not hard to find. And glitter paint, glitter Folkart, red glittery paint is really easy to find too. So just a suggestion, you don't have to use the exact same process that I'm doing or same stuff that I'm using or anything. It's totally up to you. I'm just here to give you kind of like a template to work with, and then you make the magic happen. So I am outlining all of my bits and pieces with a darker brown. And then I'll be kind of sponging that brown and kind of mixing it in with the camel a little bit better and kind of darkening all the outer edges of all the parts. So everywhere that you can see me putting dark brown, I'm going to kind of blend it in with that camel color, and it changes the look of the bear. You guys will be able to see it happen throughout, and it just these little steps actually help make your artwork just a little bit better. So that's why I show you guys what I'm doing. Now, I did start off using one of my little blending brushes, which I have a tutorial for in the description of this video. However, it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, so I decided to just use a small sponge instead. So I've switched. And now all of the outer edges, I'm just kind of blending out that dark brown. And then I go back in with some camel and highlight certain areas, but it's mostly going to be, we're mostly darkening the bear right now. Like I said, that camel color is just a base coat. It's not going to look that color when we're done. This is all steps that you don't have to do if you just want to paint them dark brown, or you just want to leave them that light camel color. It's totally up to you. You can skip past all of these things that I'm doing right now and wait for the facial features and the stitches and stuff like that. But I am just playing around with my blending sponges and seeing what happens. But I know it might not look right now. I'm adding a little bit of camel to the face now to kind of blend out that darker brown so it's not so prominent. And it just makes it look better to me. You'll see the finished product, and you'll let me know what you want to do with it. That's the best part. You can see what you like and don't like about what I'm doing to this, and you can change it up. That's it's all your choice. So I'm going to be making sure that all parts are darkened. You will see it happen really quick all of a sudden. And that's the magic of editing. See there, his leg is all shaded. His other arm is all shaded. Magic of editing. It takes me a lot longer to do this than it looks in the video. Trust me. I have sped this up like crazy. I don't daub that fast. I don't sponge anything that fast. Look like a machine. But you can see I am literally just shading all the parts and then going back in with camel and lightening certain areas just to kind of highlight them. His belly's a little bit lighter than up near his neck. Doesn't really have a neck, but there's one there. It's just hidden. So this just kind of smooths it out, makes it look like a soft bear. It's not a fuzzy, hairy bear. It's just a soft bear. Could be velvet. You decide. So his little hand, I'm not putting any features on his hand or anything because that's going to be holding up the heart. So one hand is holding on to the moon so that he doesn't fall off, and the other hand's holding up my love to you. So here's his little, as my son calls it, the snout. He makes me laugh so hard. He says he has a snout. It's right below his nose, and that's his snout. So I enjoy doing the snout on the bear. Darken it up a little bit with my dark brown, and then I lighten it up in the center with some more camel. Same thing I did with all the other parts. I just saved his face part for last. We're going to do a little pink vintage tea rose nose. And I'm going to put a little bit of white on there to make it look shiny afterwards. We are going to outline it carefully in black a little bit later once that pink is dry. Now he's got cute little eyebrows. You can do whatever kind of face you want on your bear. I'm going to use a dotting tool. It's a little bit larger just to get his little eyeballs on there. Just simple, simple, simple. He's super cute. He's going to be. So I'm going back to my brown, and I'm doing like a little smiley mouth, which you can't see very well, but I'm going to actually outline that mouth in black afterwards. But first I'm going to outline all my bear parts in dark brown, and I'm going to give him some stitches here and there. The one going down his forehead, that will have stitches across his belly, under his armpit, and around his foot and his ears as well. And I'm just using the same dark brown that I've been using all throughout. And I do still have a little bit of work to do on the ears before the stitches, but that's okay. It doesn't take long. Just outline everything. And like I said earlier, you don't have to use this on a perfectly round stone. You don't have to even paint this on a stone. Anything. A canvas, a cup, a mailbox. You decide what you paint it on. You don't have to do what I'm doing. But I'm a rock painter, so I'm using molded rock. And yeah, it's going to be super shiny and super cute very, very soon. So there's his ear stitches. I put a little blob there that shouldn't be there, but who cares? Still cute. Still cute. So one foot's dangling, one's kind of sitting up on the moon a little bit, kind of bracing himself. He's so cute. Don't forget, guys, check the description for all of my paint colors, my resin tutorial, where you can find the molds to make your own stones. Everything's there. My email address, if you want to send me an email and show me what you've painted, I would love to see them. And yeah, all you need to know about this tutorial is located in the description. So don't forget to click there. That's where the magic happens. That's where you can find out what you need in order to get started. So I am using a nice engine red and just sketching on a heart first with my fine lining brush. You can use a pencil first if you're a little bit leery about where you want your heart shape to sit. I'm just more comfortable and I just went right at it with the red paint, and you can do that too. And now I did use a sponge after I filled it in with a paintbrush once again to give it that smooth, soft texture. We're going to be covering this red up with glitter. So you just have to make sure you can't see the blue through, because it will be noticeable if any of the glitter is out of place, that you'll be able to see blue behind it. That's why I do the background, usually 2 coats of red, and then I let it dry. But I don't have to let it dry completely. It actually helps the glitter stick to it. So we'll see. I am letting it dry a little bit while I work on his cute little white pink nose. And I'm also outlining the entire bear in black. So all of his parts are all going to be outlined, as well as that dark brown. Make sure you don't cover up the dark brown line. That helps give the illusion that there's like some shading in certain areas, so we don't want to get rid of the dark brown. I'm just going to make sure he's all outlined. I'm not going to be outlining our moon in black. I'm actually going to use gold for that because, well, there hasn't been any gold in this rock yet, and we have to add it. I do, at least. So I will be outlining the moon in gold, and I'll be using yet another kind of glitter, which is like a shell powder or a nail glitter that you can purchase for nails. And I'll leave the link for that in the description as well. I get it from Amazon, and it comes in like 5 or 7 little colors of glitter, and it's lasted me for years, and I will still get a few years out of it. So it's definitely worth like I don't even think I paid $15 for it. So it's definitely worth that, and it goes a long, long way. So I have outlined my bear. I put a little white dot in each eye. Just make sure your dot's close to the same area on each black dot. So your little white dot, if you're putting it off to the left on one eye, put it off to the left on the other. You know what I mean? And then he doesn't look all cross-eyed. So I'm using, like I said, chunky glitter. It's from Recollections. I got it at Michael's. You can also get it on Amazon. And what I do is I use triple thick glaze on my painted area as a glue. And then I'm using a wax pencil, which doesn't want to pick up my pieces of glitter in the lid like I wanted it to. But yeah, I'm placing each piece of glitter individually. It looks so pretty when it's done. And all you have to do is make sure that you get the glitter stuck on there before your triple thick starts to dry. And if it does, get some more triple thick on there and go along. I just do little parts at a time. I don't cover the whole heart with triple thick and then try and get the glitter on there fast. I just do little parts of it at a time. You'll see if you've used this glitter before. I had a penguin that had like a nice iridescent chunky glitter, and it was like black iridescent. It was so beautiful. But yeah, I did the same thing. I showed you guys how to do this with that penguin tutorial. So you've seen this before. You know how I do it. If not, check out the penguin tutorial. Oh, see, this one doesn't want to stick to my wax pencil. Wax pencils also can be found online, Amazon, pretty much anywhere that there are nail art supplies. Wax pencil, super cheap. And I've had this one for years and I'm still using the same one. So it does not cost much to invest in some little supplies. I always say you guys don't have to go out and buy stuff, but if you are, just know that it's going to last for a long time because I don't like to waste money. And yeah, I make sure that I'm getting, it's good to the last drop. I want to make sure I get my money's worth with all of the stuff that I pay for. So yeah, I'm careful with what I buy. I'm outlining with gold right now, and then I'll show you the nail glitter in a second. So we have 3 different kinds of glitter, as if that's not enough, and a little bit of gold. We've got our hologram glitter. We've got our chunky glitter. Look at that heart. It looks beautiful. And now we're adding new glitter to just our moon, just the moon. I'm just dabbing it on. It's like a very, very fine, fine, fine gold glitter. And it just kind of gives my moon a little boost. You can't really see it very well, but once it's resined and it's in your hands, you see every little bit of glitter that has been added, and it's so beautiful. And it's not too much, even though you're using 2 different kinds of glitter, 3 different kinds of glitter, sorry, it doesn't end up being too much. Actually, before I resined it, I was like asking my husband, do you think I should add like stars to this or something? Like, it's just missing something. And I really honestly felt that it was missing something until I resined it. And once I resined it and saw it, which you will see at the end of this video, it really didn't need anything more because that sky shines like diamonds behind this bear once it's resined, and it really doesn't need anything else. So you'll see that at the end. But let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you're going to try it out, if you're going to paint one on your window for little kids to drive past and see right now. What are you going to do? Are you going to make one for someone that you love to the moon and back? Because this one's especially from me to you guys, but I want you guys to share it with whoever you want. Here it is, guys. Oh my word. Do you see what I'm talking about now? It does not need anything else. It's just gorgeous. I love you guys. Keep painting. I will be back very soon.